On the 13th of October, myself and my team were invited to investigate whether the Anguished Man painting was actually haunted. Or if it created its own paranormal activity.
The image just flew right past my face. I just had like someone breathe right down my ear.
The demonic place towards me.
My name is Joanne Elwood. I am the owner and the team leader on the Cumbrian-based paranormal team Spirit UK, also known as Solway Paranormal. Initially, I didn't know much about the Anguished Man, and I don't tend to research things before we investigate to avoid suggestion. But I knew it was a painting of an unknown artist, and that the owner, Sean Robinson, has said he frequently got a lot of activity from the painting. He wasn't too sure whether it was a painting itself or something else.
I think I now know there is something wrong with the painting. It isn't in my imagination. So I guess I'm not crazy after all. The highlight of the night was being told about this black figure with red eyes following the painting and hiding behind the painting.
When he removed the sheet from the painting, I saw a black mass below the painting that nobody else really could see.
It's got a form. It's got red eyes.
Is it the painting?
I don't know. I think it's attached to that painting.
And I personally believe that that is the reason why there's so much activity around the painting. I can't tell you whether it's the actual painting, it's got its own vibration, I don't know, but I do think that the black mass was behind the haunting. It doesn't matter where I am, within my own home, on somebody else's, I will see and hear things that other people can't. On this particular evening, I'm careful and very wary of telling people what I see and what I hear, if I'm unsure about what their reaction is going to be.
What are you eating, Joe?
Some good, is it?
Oh, what you seeing?
She's eating. You can tell by the look on her face.
No, it's worth repeating.
Now, there is a demonic entity attached to that painting, and Lisa did actually say, she knows my facial expression, she's one of my bestest friends, and she knew fine well that I saw something that nobody else had. So she did say, it's a demon, isn't it?
It's what?
No, I'll tell you after. Just stop speculating. I didn't say it was a demon, did I?
Stop face.
I didn't think it was the right time to sort of bring that up. I would have brought it up, and I did bring it up, but just not at that particular moment. At one part of the vigil, we were all talking amongst ourselves, and then I think I got up and I was sort of feeling the painting, see if I can pick anything up personally off the painting, and I noticed that the eyes and the mouth felt a little bit warmer than the rest of the painting.
It's the eyes and the mouth that gives off heat.
So I thought I'd take some photos. I was watching Andrew through the camera. This black mass disappeared right upside of Andrew's arm, right up into the ceiling.
Ooh. That black thing, it's just shot right up the front of the painting.
Tell us where my hands are, Liz.
Sorry, it come right upside, yeah. It was just a big black wisp of black smoke.
And that's when we started hearing things on the stairs.
That's one bang down
I
there.
think its eyes looks different.
You only just bang but 4 times.
Yeah.
Can I just say, when I walked into the building itself, it felt right off. It didn't feel right to me. I was fine before I went in. Within 5 minutes, I started feeling a little bit sick. This is before we even saw the painting, and a bit dizzy and a bit faint, and that pretty much went on all evening. In fact, it got really bad towards the end. One of the difficulties that we actually have with a location, if you're trying to investigate a painting with its haunting in itself, is doing a location that's already got spirits attached to it, because they fight for your attention as well. There was 2 spirits. When I walked through the door, initially somebody shouted at me, Sam. So I knew there was a spirit in the house that was called Sam. We went down where the painting was, and the first thing that I saw was a Jack Russell. And I know that it's it's grounded, it's literally in the building all the time. And then this gentleman appeared, and that was, well, I didn't know at the time, but that's who became known as Sam. And he was quite hostile, especially to me. Didn't want us there. He didn't know why we were there. And he didn't really like the painting either. When Lisa revealed the painting, initially I felt absolutely nothing. I'll be honest, I didn't. It wasn't really sort of till a few seconds later that I saw that little black mass thing moving under the painting, and it was that got my attention rather than the painting itself. When we went upstairs to investigate it, and then we came back down, it was already back with the painting. So I also wanted to know why he had to come back to that painting, and it had ample choice of people that night to leave with, me especially, because you're the two left with me. So why didn't he?
Sometimes when I've done investigations, I get really dizzy. It's just like vertigo, basically, and that's usually a good indication that something has attached itself. So when I go home, it'll leave here and it'll go with me.
At the end of the evening, there were two spirits in the home, a gentleman called Sam and a Jack Russell Terrier, that were actually haunted. They were grounded spirits. So before we left, they did leave with me. Normally we would move them on while we're there, but we didn't have the time. So they were invited to leave with me, and then I did that myself when I got home. There's several ways that we move a spirit on. There's several ways that you do it, and everyone's got their own way, whatever works for you. In this case, it's a case of basically a light meditation, bringing in light, so asking for it to come in, and then basically just saying, can you see the light? And because I obviously hear them as well, they'll tell me, well, yes, I can see it. And then it's basically encouraging them to go. Every now and again, you do get one that is a bit stubborn and basically refuses to go. And then it's a bit different for them. I've got to ask for extra help, either bringing their relatives in to come and get them, or asking for a bit more like angelic help to come and take them. It's a long process, but usually it's successful. So when I left the investigation, towards the end, by this point, I was really not feeling very well at all. So as soon as I walked out of that door, I left the building, I have absolutely no recollection of getting into the car, driving home, getting in the house, going to bed. It wasn't until the next day in the afternoon when I was in the kitchen that I thought, how did I even get here? I don't remember the 12 hours before, completely can't recall any of it. When we were doing the stool tip.
Use all of our energy and try and tip the stool.
Sean says to me, you've got, he says, you're next to the painting. And I went, yes, I know.
That painting is right behind you.
Yeah, I know.
And then I got like a burning sensation down my right thigh, and it was quite painful, but I ignored it and pushed on. It sort of came and went, this pain, and I just ignored it best that I could. And then I forgot about it basically. It wasn't until I got into the bath the next day, so the evening, that it's really stung. And when I looked at it, I had massive scratches right down my thigh that had been bleeding. And I had what looked like someone's handprint, like a fingerprint, pushed into my thigh over the scratches. But because it actually bled as well, it was quite relatively deep. I did sort of contact the others when I noticed, see if they had any problems. And they were like, no, nothing at all. I speak to the members of the team regularly, if not daily, definitely weekly. I've spoken to them at quite at length about it. And although they've had personal experiences when they were there, they didn't have anything when they left. But that's not really surprising. When I set up a protection and grounding circle at the beginning, it's quite thorough. So I don't expect them to have any issues. If anyone's going to have any issues, it's usually me. We always find it important to do a protection and grounding circle. And all that entails is basically joining hands in a circle to pass the energy around. I'll guide them through a process. First, it's grounding, which basically brings up energy from below your feet through your whole body. It helps to stop any faint feelings or dizzy spells. And if anyone starts feeling a bit sick, I usually just say, remember your grounding, and it usually stops that process immediately. Then we do protection, and protection is basically where we ask our own spirit guides, friends and family, and other sort of angelic beings to come in to make sure that our auric fields don't get attacked or affected. And another team definitely swear by it. They say they feel it works for them. because I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times for them, to protect them. And I often say, does anybody else want to have a go? And they always say no.
Don't say me. Don't say me. You're just as good as I am.
It's your turn.
So because you've got to concentrate when you're doing it, if I'm telling people how to do it, I can't do it for myself. So if I don't have time before I set off doing something, then if it's gonna happen, it will happen to me. Since the 13th of October, I've been going over my own footage. I'd like to discuss some of our own conclusions, including the EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomena. Some people believe it's spirit voices, others believe it's naturally occurring, but we've got quite a few. Also got quite a lot of flashing orbs. Orbs is another touchy subject. I'm not a big believer in orbs being manifestations, but on this particular evening, we did actually catch a lot of flashing orbs. Normal orbs don't flash, they reflect because they're light reflective, but these flash and move, so they've got a fair bit of power behind them. I believe those are more likely to be spirit formed. I do like me flashing orbs. It gives me more of a confidence that there's something there. But yeah, I'm more EVP based. So we used the spirit box, and it acts like basically a speaking Ouija board. You get a lot of information. The only problem with EVPs is your own spirit people talk as well. So like in this investigation, my name gets mentioned countless times. I don't always hear them at the time, but they'll say, Joanne, go upstairs or go in the kitchen. I think it sounds like a female voice in here for you all. So I'm assuming that's to do with the protection. So that's just somebody sort of confirming that they're here for everybody to sort of keep everybody safe. There was a few names that were recorded, Sam being the first one, then there was William, Ashley, Nathan, Spiller.
But I didn't see it till he took the cover off.
All right.
Lunkett, as in the surname, got mentioned twice, my name loads of times, and then Emily. I'm not saying all these people are in the house. A lot of the times they give names of people's like family members. I remember seeing Sam, I saw Jack Russell, and if you remember, we were upstairs, I mentioned a dead woman on the bed. It was just like an image that I saw of someone lying dead in the bed, basically. But I got told that a name began with an M, and I assumed it meant a capital M, but I got an EVP saying Emily. So I think they were trying to say her name was Emily, but I only heard M. But I can't see whether she's actually a haunter, because I only really saw the two. But I think she comes into the story, whether Sam was married to her or something, I don't know. The man that was called Sam, the spirit that was called Sam in the house, eventually did start to talk to us. The first thing he asked us was, are you some kind of witch? And that was quite hostile. And I had to explain, I actually recorded an EVP telling me not a witch, because that was really bothering him. So I told him I'm not a witch and what I do. And then he sort of softened a little bit, and then he didn't want me in his bedroom. And then he did, because it was okay up to that point. But all he kept saying was that he didn't want the painting there. He didn't know why it was there. He didn't want it there, but he didn't say why. And I said, can you see what I can see around that painting? And he just would not answer that question. But I did record two EVPs of a man speaking. One says demon and the other one says devil.
Can you give us the name of someone that's in this room now, please? One of those.
So clearly someone could see it and was telling me that they could see it. Whether that was Sam, I'm not sure. Someone says enough of this painting. So I'm assuming that's Sam. Somebody mentions killing. I can't remember whether it's Andrea or Fran. I think it was Fran. Had said that she felt something touching the top of her head. And it had been going on all night. And she thought, who's touching my head?
Somebody's touching my hair. Don't start touching me. I don't want to know. Get off.
And then someone says, it's me.
Somebody's touching my hair.
Again, I don't know who says it, but it is clear, that's recorded, clearly said it's me. I just remember we're all downstairs by the painting, and then there's this noise. We're asking for things to happen, taps and bangs, and then this noise appeared from nowhere.
It's like something coming out of there.
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
What the hell was that? I heard that.
I heard that. Yeah.
Normally when you hear noises like that, you can sort of say, oh, it's like water pipes or things like that, or it's wind through the window. But on this occasion, I have absolutely no idea what that noise is. I'm not saying it's paranormal, but it is a noise that was asked for at the time, and it was given. During a break in the investigation, where I think everybody is accounted for, Tom, the camera operator, was discussing something with Sean Robinson on horror films, and there's a name shouted from upstairs.
I need to watch the Piranha film.
This is the original 80s one.
Did you say on there?
No, I don't know.
Maybe not.
But because everyone's accounted for, nobody knows who shouted.
Is there an entity attached to that painting, please? If it is, can move towards me. Well, that was me. Is it demonic, please, towards me?
Is whatever's with the painting scaring you?
That's the painting again. Like that painting.
That stool shouldn't be moving. Everyone's going to say, oh, someone's pushed it subconsciously, and you can never rule it out. But sometimes I've done things and I've felt my elbows being pushed. So I do push it because something's pushing my elbow. It isn't actually me doing it. But what I find most interesting with that is the fact that only Lisa's got her hands on it. So she's only got her fingertips on, and it moves anywhere. Now, I've tried doing that on my own with like glasses and things like that, and it just doesn't work. I know at least it's got a lot of energy, but that steel was quite heavy. So for it to move with just Lisa's fingers on it was quite impressive. It's never happened before. It usually takes 2 or 3 people to get something that heavy to move. Me and the team actually discussed it the other night. They'll be very keen to do it again with a lot more controls in place. When you first sort of go and everyone's sort of getting to know each other, you talk a lot. So basically it just means less talking and more controlled. You're not talking at all. I mean, I have absolutely no problem telling people to shut up.
Will you shut up? Thank you.
Can you be quiet for a minute, please? Still here, Lisa?
I don't mind people talking, I never have done. I talk far too much. But if you want to sort of find out if something's haunting itself or creating activity, you need to be in somewhere either where I've got control of the spirits in there, so they know me anyway and keep out my way, or somewhere that I clear. I usually put up like symbols, I invoke symbols, and it keeps out other spirits, even good ones. So you're not got that constant like coming and going with spirit all the time. If I'm given a name, then I know it's linked to that painting and not actually to something in the room. Knowing what I've seen is attached to it, because it's demonic, you get several sort of strains of demonic entities. Some are more powerful than others. That wasn't overly powerful, but it is enough if it was attached to a person to cause what people would call like schizophrenic effect. So you'd hear voices, negative voices, and those voices will tell you to do things that you normally wouldn't entertain. But yeah, it's dangerous in the fact that it's attached to the painting. You wouldn't want really a demon in your house. But I think as long as it's attached to the painting, it's less dangerous. If Sean did a painting for you, I would say thank you very much, but no, you can keep it. I wouldn't have it. It's interesting, and I'll be quite happy to work with it again. But I wouldn't want it in my collection, put it that way.